here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. Elizabeth Warren is a certifiable lunatic. That's well known. Throughout her life and career, she lived a lie that she was a Native American. But she's not a Native American. She's a lunatic. And she continued to lie obsessively. Her mommy told her she's a Native American because of her jaw structure. Nothing racist about that, I guess. Works her way through Harvard and all kinds of appointments. And she's a brilliant woman. She gets a DNA test that demonstrates that she's like 1/1 billionth Native American. Well, we're all 1/1 billionth Native American. She brags about it. So for Elizabeth Warren, her life has been a lie. And she's a radical kook. Now, I want to remind you, we've been lectured now for 2 years, more than 2 years, follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. Some science is actually settled. We now heard that Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the CDC stepped in and said, don't take it anymore. It causes blood clots. A little late, don't you think? I wonder if Facebook and the rest of them, minus Twitter, will even allow that CDC pronouncement to be posted. It's so invested in the opposite. Anyway, lunatic Elizabeth Warren was on CBS this morning today. Cut 5, go.
There's a question, should there be any limits on abortions?
I'm going to put it this way. I think that the woman who is most affected should be at the heart of this.
Of course.
I think that she should be able to call on her partner,
right,
her mother, her priest, her rabbi. She should be able to bring in the people she needs. But in a pregnancy, I don't believe that it is the state that should intervene with its heavy hand and make the decision.
You folks understand how far this goes, well beyond Roe versus Wade and Casey. That a woman can just consult with whomever she wishes to consult and do as she wishes. As if that other thing isn't a human being. I don't believe there's a country in the world that takes that position. If they do, they're genocidal regimes that don't give a damn about people yet born or people born. Do you understand what she said there? If a woman's about to give birth, and that's a real full-sized, viable baby in the womb, and she consults with somebody, since she's closest to the subject matter, she has 100% say. Not just about her body, not just about her choice, but the body of another human being and their choice. You know what drives me nuts about this? That baby can't speak. That baby can't vote. That baby can't organize. That baby can't protest at the Supreme Court. That baby can't protest at the home of justices. That baby has no representation except for those of us who are willing to speak out. None whatsoever. Elizabeth Warren is telling you the position of the Democrat Party. It's not about trimesters anymore. It's not about viability anymore. That's not a baby, even though it is a baby. And if you want to kill it, then kill it. Just make sure you say a prayer before you do it. Is that what we've become? Is that who we are? This is sick. This is insane. Follow the science, right, Fauci? Follow the science, right, Birx? That's not what Elizabeth Warren's saying when it comes to a human life. And let me ask you a question, and I'll say it. Certainly at the point of a late term, certainly at the point of scientifically provable viability, what's more important, the life of the baby or a choice? What's more important, the life of a baby or a choice? You know, death is final. I don't care if it's done on a steel table with the blessing of Elizabeth Warren, where the skull is crushed inside the womb so we pretend it's not a human being. But at least the woman had a choice, right? And not only did she have a choice, we, the federal taxpayers, get to pay for it. This is screwed up, big time. Roe versus Wade does not say what Elizabeth Warren said. Casey doesn't say what Elizabeth Warren said. This isn't about a woman's right. This isn't about a woman's body at the point of viability for sure. This is about saving a life. This is why the Democrat Party is so heartless. With children that are born. What do you mean, Mark? They would have us believe, because of decades of propaganda and the inability of conservatives and Republicans to respond, that it is they who care about children. Because why? Because they tax the hell out of you to pay for teachers' unions. Because they believe in a Marxist agenda where you redistribute wealth as if that's the measure of caring for babies and children. No, you know what it is? It's a loving mother and father. Honestly, especially a loving mother. But it's a loving husband and wife. It's a healthy nuclear family. You don't care about the children? Listen to them. It's about the woman's choice, even when the baby is viable. It's a woman's choice. It's a choice. But it's a human. It's a choice. It's nothing but a choice. And so we have groups that form around this because they're alive, these people, and they vote. And they can protest. They can be violent. But the dead babies, nothing. Do you hear the baby screaming? Do you hear the baby in excruciating pain? When they're crushed, their skulls are being crushed. Do you ever hear the Democrats in Congress talk about this? Have you ever in your life heard Chuck Schumer speak about this? The reality of what's taking place. The reality. Not the propaganda, not the bullhorns on the steps of the Supreme Court with the platitudes. Have you thought about what's going on with that baby? Innocent, defenseless baby. We have laws against torture. We have laws against battery and assault. What do you think is happening to that baby in the womb? Battery and assault. When it's viable, she said no limits. You're killing it. You can throw around the words Roe versus Wade and Casey and women's rights and a woman's body all you want. We can try to justify what's being done, build a political movement around it. It's savage. As I told you the other day, I'm not the most religious person in the world. I didn't come to this conclusion through religion. I came to this conclusion through logic and a conscience. You have to lie to yourself if you don't think that's a baby. You have to lie to yourself if you don't think that baby is in excruciating pain. We know as a matter of fact. You have to lie to yourself if you think this is some kind of a choice. And you have to lie to yourself if you think this is merely about a woman's body. That's a human being, whether it's in a body or in a crib. It's a human being. There's not a religion on the face of the earth, not one, that supports this. Oh, don't get me wrong. There are preachers and rabbis and so forth and so on who defy their own faith, their own ancients, and then use their faith to project and promote a radical agenda. Shame on them. They're the worst of the worst as far as I'm concerned. But let's not fool ourselves what we're talking about here. And when you listen to these people, they make no sense whatsoever. Next is marriage. Next is contraceptives. Next is, who says? Nobody says. They say it. Why? Because they want our streets burning. Because they want anarchy. They want a scene. They think it helps them. Why else do they talk this way? Why else do they scream this way? Why else do they lie? Why do they dehumanize babies? Dehumanize babies. Does it get any lower than that? Does it get any lower than that? Ask any real scientist, any real doctor. Partial birth abortion. Does the baby feel pain or not? Yes or no? What does the sonogram show us? What does the technology tell us? It tells us that baby has been tortured to death. That's what it tells us. That's what Elizabeth Warren stands for. That's what 4 justices on the Supreme Court stand for. That's what Chuck Schumer stands for. That's what Joy Reid stands for. That's what they all stand for. Because the science tells us you're killing a baby. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.